Okay, and the more I thought about it, I want to follow up on why I am raging about He-Man. Okay, I was obsessed with He-Man as a kid. I had all of his toys. I even bought the She-Ra bad guys because they looked freaking cool. Hordak looked awesome. All those guys looked cool. I had Castle Grayskull. The only thing I didn't have was the that track that had the things that went like this, that little vehicle, and I never had Snake Mountain. And that little microphone thing never worked. I went to my friends' houses and they would play with it, and that little microphone thing was pointless. But anyway, I even had the bed sheets. I still have my bed sheets in a box somewhere. He-Man bed sheets. So the movie came out in 1987, I believe, and Mom's like, hey, let's go see this movie. And I was super excited to go see it. I really wanted to go see it. And I went there, and after the movie was over, we came outside, and Mom's like, what'd you think? And I remember saying to her, I hated it. I hated it. She's like, what? Why? And I was like, there was no Orko, and it all took place on Earth, like in Ohio. Like, what? And so she's like, okay, well, so for years, I always held a resentment to that movie because they didn't have Orko, they didn't have Battle Cat, and it didn't take place on Eternia. As a child, I didn't understand why. As an adult, they didn't have the technology. They didn't have, the special effects skills to do that, to pull that off convincingly. I understand that now as an adult. They've had 30 plus years to come up with a new idea for He-Man, a movie, and they knew, the producers knew the major gripes from fans from the original movie was that it had no Orko, and it had no Battle Cat, and it all took place on Earth. So what do these guys do with the new movie? They have options to fix it. They could do whatever they want. They have the technology to make it as beautiful and as awesome and as cool as they want. Include anybody they want. No Orko. He's in a 30-second scene at the end that sucks. And that does not count as appearing in the movie. In the cartoon, he even says it himself. In the intro, only 3 others share my secret. Our friends, the Sorceress, Men-at-Arms, and Orko. So, I knew when this movie was coming out, I said to myself, Mother, if they don't put Orko in this movie, or if they don't have Battle Cat, or if it takes place on Earth, I will be pissed off. Well, guess what? No Orko. Battle Cat was in it for like 15 seconds, and they had an Earth segment. I'll let the Earth segment pass because it didn't take very long. They were there. It was kind of funny. It had Marvel humor. If you're a kid, you'd think it was funny. I kind of rolled my eyes at some of the jokes, but at the end of the 87 movie, after the credits, Skeletor pops up out of the water and he says, I'll be back. Guess what? He wasn't back. And now, since He-Man is bombing, I highly doubt we're going to get a sequel. And if we do get a sequel, it's not going to have as much money as this one. So it's not going to have as good special effects. They lost their chance to put freaking Orko in He-Man. All the older fans would have... And who was the movie for? Not young kids. Nobody knows who He-Man is. It was made specifically for old guys like me in their mid to late 40s who are dorks. And they ignored the 3 main things that made us angry from the first movie, and they did it again. So, I saw the movie. I rode the 7 Seas. I didn't pay for it. I watched it at home. I'm glad I did. I would have been upset if I had to pay money for that. It was pretty. It was fun. It was an exciting action movie in its own way, if you like science fantasy. But they dropped the ball so hard on things they could have done and didn't do. And I'll never forgive them. They had the chance to put Orko in it and Battle Cat in it. They didn't. And it's kind of like why I will never forgive Rian Johnson for The Last Jedi. Or any of them for the new Star Wars sequels. They had the opportunity to have Luke, Han, and Leia in a scene together again, and they ruined it. They threw it away. I will never forgive them for doing that. I will carry that to my grave. Same with this He-Man thing. And I could keep going and going, and I'll save you the nerd rage.